to my thugs, nerds, freaks, and geeks. You're now rocking with the best of Don, Tony, Teflon. As always, subscribe, click that bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. This is the first Usual Suspects podcast of Out of Range. As always, let's go through the people that are here with me. As always, the one and only Phil, the Issues Guy.
Great to be here, and I always make sure I look down my opponent's sleeves when they're playing poker. If you learn anything from these episodes, make sure when you're playing against somebody, you don't let somebody walk around with sleeves while you're playing poker.
No, I don't know if it was a foot fetish thing going on there for a second. There was something happening there, and I was into it. But rocking with us and back with us, hasn't been here for a little while, but he is back with us. The Kaiser Soze of Usual Suspects, the one, the only Bridge 4.
Yo, what's going on? Glad to be back. As far as I didn't have like a little intro line like Phil, but there was actually between my first and second jobs ever, I was one of those people that played online poker, and I'd have like 4 to 8 games going at the same time. It was pretty fun. It was a good month.
No, the poker scene wasn't bad. In fact, the acting in this show is very good.
Very.
And I give them credit for the actors that they have in the show. But I guess when you have someone like Josh Brolin, then you're gonna have to have someone who could stand up next to him. His wife, I think, is amazing. Her acting is amazing.
Oh, she's phenomenal. Yeah. Have you seen her before? I've never seen her in anything before.
Yeah, Lily Taylor. She's been in a bunch of stuff, but like smaller parts that you wouldn't have known, like things like Mystic Pizza and in the X-Files. She was on 6 Feet Under as well. She's been in like a handful of bit parts through. She's like a long timer. This is one of her biggest meteor roles, and she really kills it. She's been a great character actress. It's good to see her get the attention.
Yeah, there's a word. I learned this word last year. One of you used it, actually, I think. Gravitas or something like that, right? Gravitas. Like Tywin Lannister or Charles Dance has gravitas, right? It's like gravity. He has a lot of weight on screen. So whatever the guy you mentioned, the guy who he was in Dune, I think, right?
He has a lot of Brolin. He's Dune. He's Thanos. He
was Thanos. Yeah. So he's got gravitas, but it's good. Like you said, his wife, she can stand up to him. Like she has a lot of gravitas too. I kind of love her.
Oh, when she's saying that, when she's having that scene, like, don't make me drag it out of you. Like, she's doing that. Like, it really feels like they're a married couple and like, yo, don't make me drag this. Tell me what the fuck is going on. You're really going to make me, I'm going to get it out of your ass. You know what I mean? You're going to make me go through this right now, So I thought she did a tremendous. So let's save it up to some of the people here in the chat. What is rocking with us right now? Billy Rose is in the building right here. Edward Martin always is rocking with us. Lady Starfall is in the building rocking with us. Quan Sola is in the building rocking with us right now. We got the real YT up in the building. We got Nisha is up in here rocking with us right now. Perry Garcia is in here rocking with us. Eric C. Canelo's the GOAT. We'll see about that, Eric. We'll see about that. Coco Cutie is in the building rocking with us right now. All right. Look, thank you for everybody here rocking with us. We truly appreciate. We know that we don't expect too many people here. This show is good, but I don't know how much of a fandom it truly has yet, or if it's going to get. Do you think it's possible that this show could pick up fire? And do you like the 2 episodes a week better than the 1 episode a week instead of the full binge?
Well, I definitely like the 2 episodes a week for this. I would like to see Amazon distinguish themselves by doing this, and because I wanted The Boys to be released like this as well. It's good. It gives you the best of both worlds, so I enjoy that. As for whether I think it's going to be a hit and catch on, I don't know if it has necessarily that. I think it's really excellently done. Amazing acting, maybe one of the finest put together shows I've watched in a while from beginning to end. It stands right up there with Better Call Saul that I'm watching right now. Is just the level of, and Severance is another show that really seems like very polished. This show is extremely polished. It seems like they have an agenda they want to tell, but it does have a little bit of, I'm not gonna say a Twin Peaks there's an oddness to it that I think is more niche than it's ever going to catch on to a mainstream audience. I could be wrong because it has a killer cast and it has an interesting ongoing story that's going through, but it's random sometimes and its style goes all over the place. One moment it can be completely hilarious. The next moment it's like dry and serious. So I don't know, Tony. I'd like to think it could because I like it, but it's not like something like From. I think that has mainstream appeal. I don't know about this show particularly. It is one of the best shows on TV right off the bat after these 4 episodes, though. It's really good.
Bridge, what do you think?
Yeah, so I'm not too well versed in culture at all, but I would just at a high level, I would think that this show seems like more of an adult show than a kid show, right? And nowadays, I think adults are still they're the only ones that still watch cable, you know what I mean? So they're still on those basic channels and they're watching those shows. And most of the time, those shows don't really I don't want to speak bad to CBS because I think there's got a Star Wars, a Star Trek thing that you like, Phil. But I don't know, but those type shows, they don't really hold up to me to something like HBO or even good Amazon shows or whatever the Showtime and the other ones like Epics. So personally, I think this other stuff is better, but it's really just kids that have these subscriptions. And then a lot of people have Amazon. They don't even realize that it comes with Amazon Video. So I think the culture hasn't even moved into the fact that Amazon is a video providing service yet. So personally, I think the show would do a lot better in the future than it will do now, simply because people aren't watching Amazon right now. But the show's pretty gnarly. I'll give it that.
Yeah, I think when it comes to the streaming services, I think we have to say we could probably agree HBO is number one, but right behind it's Apple for quality shows.
Really?
I think I haven't seen a bad quality. I'm talking just the quality of the show. I don't think I've seen a bad quality show on Apple TV yet.
Interesting.
Every one of those shows on Apple TV is amazing. I mean, I can go through them all. The Polly Gray show is amazing. Severance is amazing. Even the show with with Jason Momoa is amazing. I think that they get a lot of the best actors out there, like movie stars and stuff, to go on their shows. For some reason, they have that. But I think that this show, and Amazon's had some great hit shows, The Handmaid's Tales, and I think that this show is great too, you know what I mean? So I think, and The Boys is good, you know what I mean? So I think Amazon is catching up to them. We'll see what happens with Lord of the Rings. We have
That's true.
Bridges show that you love, that's the Wheel of Time that's on there, right? And so I think they're catching up to it, but I still would hold HBO and Apple as the gold standard right now.
I think you made a great point with Lord of the Rings. I think that they wanted what Lord of the Rings is probably going to do to Amazon as a streaming service is what I think they had hoped that the Wheel of Time would do, because it has such the Wheel of Time has sold 100,000 books worldwide. It's a massive book following. I think they thought a lot more people, a lot of people did watch the show, but I think they thought a lot more new people were going to watch the show, and then as a result, they'd be watching things like Reacher and Outer Range and other shows. But I don't think that's happened. I think you're right though with Lord of the Rings. That's going to pull a lot of people to Amazon, and then people are going to be like, oh, wow, there's actually a lot of good shows on Amazon.
Maybe that's their goal, because I agree with you 100%, Bridge. They were hoping that Wheel of Time would do that, because Amazon does have a lot of programming, decent programming. You mentioned The Boys, but there's also Invincible, The Tick, which doesn't exist anymore, but still a really well put together series. But they don't have that one series that pulls people into subscribe or to realize that, because you're right. Same with me as well. I didn't realize you had Amazon until you're like, oh, I have Prime, to really force people to look into it to see it. They're hoping Lord of the Rings is going to be that, but maybe Lord of the Rings will be a Marco Polo situation where it's a big budget thing that falls. The point with this, with Outer Range, is Outer Range a show that's going to make people talk more about Amazon Prime? I think it's more of a show like what you said, Bridge, and I think you're implying that it's more of a show that people are going to discover when they get brought into Amazon Prime with something like The Lord of the Rings and go, damn, this is a good freaking show. Yeah. So, and it's going to find its audience over time instead of be something that's going to bring people in because of, Josh Brolin bringing people in because of the star factor or something like that.
No doubt. All right, we make sure this is a call-in live stream, 781-990-8509. You can see the number on the ticker. If you have a question, you can call in, leave a voicemail. We'll take your voicemails and your theories. Let's go through the show right now and kind of recap what's going on here. So we have the Royals, right? And they have the Western pastor, and there has been this hole that has been Royal has found the Royals. Like it might as well be the Royal. Yeah. Royal finds a hole on his pastor. This hole, we don't know exactly what it is, but somehow it seems to have the ability to do something in dealing with time, I would say. He puts, anything that goes inside of this hole, he thought that didn't come out, but when he went inside the hole, he realized that he did come out. And when he did come out, he's seen a fast flash forward, right? He put his arm in there first and was able to see a flash forward of something that actually did happen.
And I know you've broken down the first episode in a video, but I love how the first episode basically starts out with a flash forward of him throwing a body into the hole, and you're not sure what's going on. I thought that first episode really grabbed you because you didn't know what kind of thing it was, and then the show grounds itself because it is multiple things at the same time. It is this, like what's in the hole mystery. There's like the whole time travel thing, but then it's a story about a really fucked up town with a lot of weird shit going on. I just mean with like the competitive aspects in these two warring families in town with over land that is the other guy trying to get the land because the hole's there, or is it just something else? It seems like he knew the hole was there, and then obviously we see, as Tony will get to it at the end of our most recent episode, he discovers the hole. And then rule number 2, besides the poker game, when you beat someone to almost death, don't turn your back on them until you make sure they're fucking dead. What are you doing? You're posing in the hole, waiting for the guy to get up that's to hit you in the head with a rock. I mean, come on, Royal. Don't you're smarter than that, Brolin. Sorry.
What do you think about the first episode, Bridge? We'll do it real fast, and go through it because we're really doing the third and fourth episode.
Yeah, very high level. Like, personally, I love TV, but I find it hard to actually watch. I've got too much like self-diagnosed ADHD. I'd rather get up and read a book or move around and listen to an audiobook. And I found the first 2 episodes really easy to watch. Like, I was stuck to my chair the entire time. So yeah, like for someone like me to actually like something like Tokyo Vice, right? I was liking that show when I watched the first 2 episodes and I liked them. It came to the next week, they dropped, I think, episodes 3 and 4. 15 minutes into episode 3, like I was liking it, but I was like, nah, I don't feel like sitting here. So I got up and walked away. So for someone like me, like I don't really like watching TV. And yeah, I liked episodes 1 and 2. They're pretty good.
Yeah, I thought that episode 1 definitely brought you in, explained the characters very well, and gave you enough mystery to make you want to come back and watch the following episode. I thought they did a good job explaining these characters. And I obviously, if you don't want to skip, we're just going to skip around because it's better to do it that way. Talking about royal sons and, dealing with them, and they kill him at the bar.
Dumbasses.
And they are dumbasses. Are they not dumbasses?
No, they're both dumbasses. And one of them played a dumbass in Ozark too, and I feel like he's playing the same character. He's good at playing that kind of dumbass, but Ben over there, Wendy's brother from Ozark, plays one of the 2 sons. The other one's played by
he's Perry. He's Perry, right?
Yeah, the older of the 2 brothers. Yeah.
That didn't even click until like 2 days ago. Yeah, that's awesome.
And he's basically playing Ben, and the other son is played by Bill Pullman's real life son. That this is one of his first roles, but his sons are dumbass. The other sons are dumbasses too. The white singing telegram sons, they're dumbasses too. But yes, those 2 brothers are dumbasses.
And it also shows you like what you can get away with in this town when you have a last name and money, because there's no other way you can just drive your car through somebody's land, go in that house like, hey, don't open that door, and we're gonna break open your door to see what's going on inside there, and there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, when does that ever happen that you could just break into someone's barn and just say, I'm just gonna break in and do whatever I want because I'm searching? And that's just what it's going to be. But so it gives you that small town aspect that when you have that old money, when your family last name is something special, you can do whatever the fuck you want in that town.
That Roadhouse thing, like when Patrick Swayze goes down to Roadhouse and the whole town's owned by the old guy in the family and they can get away with anything. It has that kind of vibe to it for sure, Tony. And
what's funny? Oh, sorry.
Oh no, I'm done.
What's funny is that like when you talk about fights, it's always like, especially as a kid, you're like, I'll punch him in the throat. Perry punched him in the throat.
He did.
Right.
And people don't understand how deadly a throat punch truly is. It's a devastating thing. I mean, I've talked about that chick with, that was with me and shot me in the throat and almost killed me. And I almost had to kill her. It's a devastating thing, and anything can happen. But it went there really fast with that.
Yeah,
like
it did.
They got to that point. Like it's like, hey, we're going out here. Oh, we got into a fight. Boom, this dude's dead.
I don't want to compare it to this because I don't mean this in an insulting way, but it kind of reminded me a little bit of like Thelma and Louise. Like when Thelma and Louise get to the bar, you're like, oh, this is going all right. And next thing you know, she's shooting some dude. It was in some dude's dead. And it was like, before you knew it, it just happened. It escalated really, really quick.
It should. Only thing that bothers me is them good old boys are quite rude at times. Any motherfuckers knocking on my door demanding to come in is gonna get beat up there. And that's what it is. When you have that money, when you have that last name and that privilege, especially when you're in that town that you're at, and you have that, you just feel you could do whatever you want to do.
Yo, that scene was so good. Speaking of Cecilia, the mother, right? Cecilia
Yeah.
Royal. So she didn't know at first what was going on. They were yelling at the front door. Then she must have been told behind the scenes what was happening. So when they were all sitting in the kitchen at this point, and when the boys came back to the door, she went to the front door and she put on this whole little skit, like, "What are you guys doing here? You're drunk." And then she goes, "And look at you, Billy." And she like licked her thumb and rubbed some dirt off his cheek. She was so good. And closed the door and walked away.
She
It
put
was
the
so
mom on them, like she put that, like she made them feel like little boys.
I
Like,
didn't
you
hear
know
an
what I mean?
apology. I didn't hear an apology.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Marshall. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Oh, like she put that on them. You know what I mean? That mom, that only a mom can do to you. That's something that only a mom has the ability to do to you, and she definitely did it. She, again, another well acted scene that she pulled off there.
Real, and she's the one that finally said, "Get off my property now." Finally had the balls to stand up to the other brothers and be like, "Get the hell off my property." I mean, what's also really awesome about this show is that we've been talking about this for a little bit already, and we haven't once mentioned the big thing about the show, the big hole. We haven't mentioned the big hole because there's so much else going on the show that I'm interested in besides just what's up with the whole. I mean, we've talked about it a little bit. Tony mentioned it's a time traveling thing, but what is it? What's it mean? We haven't talked about the hippie girl quite yet either as well. And I know I haven't watched your videos yet, Tony, but I tried not to watch them before I watched the show. So I'm not sure what your theories are on her. And I've heard some theories online about maybe he's his daughter, his daughter or whatever. But through a different time that she's come through, but the last episode that we just went through made me think differently. Tony, what are some of your thoughts on who the hippie girl is and what's her significance to the story?
I said this from day one. You can ask Bridge, because I actually when I came up with the theory, I asked Bridge about it and seeing. I was really asking Bridge to see if he was going to drop a video before me on it. So, so I asked Bridge about it. But no, I believe that Autumn is Amy. I think all signs points to her being Amy. I think that, you know, her saying that she wasn't age, she can't remember her childhood. I think that when Royal gets killed or whatever, or dies, and dies in his arms, like his wife said, she finds the hole and falls inside the hole, comes out with her memory wiped, is picked up by somebody else, and then raised up to Autumn. And somehow they find themselves on the same time plane. But I do believe that they're one and the same person.
You know what's interesting though? Someone in my comment section of a video mentioned in the last episode, I think it was episode 4. It was at 3 or 4. I think it was 4. Autumn was in the car with what's his son's name? The one that rides Rhett. He's in the car with Rhett, and he told Rhett the true story. So first of all, there's a question of, are Royal's memories coming back too, or was he just lying the whole time about his past? So he told Rhett that he had always told him that his parents had died when he was young, but really it was just his mother or father. One of them died. Well, no, his father died, but that he also had a younger sister. So now we've got this new character. Like, how does the younger sister come into play? Is his younger sister simultaneously Amy? You know, it's things are getting really dicey now with time travel.
Yeah,
right?
The younger sister is at play, and I would say that, and I think that they put that in there to make you. Why bring her up if she's not going to have something to do with it, right? But still, it can't be when you look at look at everything and you see what it is. I just think that at this particular time, how old is Royal? I mean, in this show. So how old would his younger sister truly have to be?
How old do you think he is? About 60?
Yeah, if he's 60 or older, his younger sister, the least she has to be is 40. All right, 20 years difference. This chick is in her 20s. You know, maybe if you want to push 30s, the actors maybe.
Oh, you're referring to Autumn.
Autumn, yeah.
Okay.
By her feet, I say 20s. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, what is she in her 30s or something? It's the age that to me just wouldn't match up. Now we do know that somehow something else could happen when you go in the hole. I don't know, but I just don't think the ages match up for her. And I think the necklace twirl was the dead giveaway. You know, I think because when
I
you
missed
see
that. What are you referring to with the necklace?
you know, when Autumn gets like when she gets flustered,
Oh,
you see it. She grabs her necklace
yeah.
with her right hand and she
Okay.
starts twirling it. The last episode, when you seen Amy get inside the truck and she was offered the ride, first thing she said, "Hey, you want to get in?" As soon as she got inside the truck, she grabbed her necklace with her right hand and started
Oh, did
twirling
she
it.
really?
She sure did.
Did
I didn't
Royal
catch that. That's cool.
Did Royal twirl it at the end when he had it in the car when he picked it up? Did he twirl it in his hand?
He sort of just dropped it off to the
Okay, so
passenger
just
seat, I think.
I'm just wondering.
I think, yeah.
How desperate is she going to get in episodes coming up to get that back from Royal, and how is this going to affect her moving forward, not having that bridge? Do you
It's
think
the
she's
same
going to?
rock she dug up, right? It's that same rock she dug up that she made into that necklace, right?
I'm not sure because she did have a necklace on the first time that she met Amy.
Yeah.
I'll go right now. I'll go try to look through this.
Yeah, and that's another thing. When first time she meets Amy, and it's funny, like when you look at her scenes, Amy usually follows her, or Amy follows her scenes. They'll have a scene with Autumn, and then the next
cuts to
scene
Amy.
Yeah, they do.
is Amy. Is right there. Like, you know, they show Autumn going the thing. Next thing is Amy. Hey, can I go for a walk? They show Amy walking in there. Oh, I'm looking at this symbol. I've been drawing this symbol my whole life, and I don't know why I've been drawing this symbol my whole life. And then Amy says, "Hey, that looks like my family's brand." And then it is a family's brand that's up there. As soon as Amy meets Autumn, she looks at her and says, "Hey, I like your necklace." You know what I mean? She's like, "Oh, you like my necklace?" Like, "Oh, do you?" And she grabs it and starts twirling it. You know what I mean? I just think that when you deal with all that stuff, it's Amy. This is her growing up. And somehow when she fell in that hole, some type of time loop happened. I mean, we see the thing with the body, right? When they throw the body in there and they eventually do find this body of this dude, you know, it's like, and Royal's stupid a little bit too in this. I'm going to say it right now.
Is he just because you say that? I want to point out a comment that someone said, because a couple people are saying Royal knows more than he's letting on or says, and someone else said Royal's slick. Do you think Royal's stupid, or is he Columbo stupid?
No, I think he's stupid because listen, if you're gonna steal the thing from the cop, the belt buckle from the cops, right? All you have to really do is wipe the blood off. Why don't you just wipe it down? You just throw it inside the hole with the plastic and everything else in it. So when it comes back up, it's going to be intact. Everything's going to be the same. Throw this shit in some water. Drop it in some bleach. Bleach it up, then throw it in the hole. Why would you do something like that?
He thinks the hole like sanitizes it too. You know, like it burns it up. Oh, awesome, Anna! Great to see Anna in the live chat. And yeah, so I also think though that he is slick in the ways of like everyday life stuff, but in some ways of dealing with this hole and dealing with covering up, he does get a little flustered and acts a little stupid. It's when it comes to cheating someone in poker, that's very natural to him. That was very easy for him.
Okay, so here's the thing. So I'm looking at her necklace from episode 2. So that's before she dug up that like orangey looking rock, right?
Yep.
The necklace is like, it's weird because like it depends on the light. It looks like a dark rock. It's a dark like whatever football shaped rock, but it does have like a little bit of orangeness to it. Then she digs up a rock, and the rock is kind of like that orangey looking rock. Mm-hmm. Then she has a necklace which Royal takes to the poker game, and at times it kind of looked like orangey. But then when I went through like there's only a couple frames when he drops onto the chair, it's back to looking dark again. So I didn't know. I'm like, is it an orange rock with like that dark mist swirling through it? So what I think may have happened, I think she may have the rock that he took. I think it may be the rock that she had before she dug up that thing. So I think that thing is actually a separate item that she now has in her possession.
All right, we can go with that. And you know, it seems like he touches that rock. That's when the mountains disappear, right?
Yes.
Well, I actually, when I first wrote my script for the second or third, 3 and 4 episodes, 3 and 4 videos, I actually wrote that. I thought I published the video, then I went and took a shower. I came back and realized I'd only edited to a playlist. I didn't publish it, so I changed it because what I realized is that it's I don't know if it was necessarily the rock. It may have been, but I don't know if it was that he touched her while she was wearing the rock, or it may have just been more simple. The fact that if she's from another timeline, he's interacting with someone from another timeline, and as soon as he lets go of her hand. So the mountain disappears when he holds her hand, and then it reappears when he lets go of her hand. So I think it may have been more basic than it may not have been directly related to the rock, but Who knows? It may have.
So you think it's the hand? It's just them contacting each other.
Contact. I think it's contact with her. Now, to play devil's advocate, like, because I wrote that, that's what my new video that I ended up publishing said. And someone came back to me and said, yeah, but that's not the first time they touched. And then my counter to that was that, yeah, I realized it's not the first time they touched, but maybe we just didn't see what happened. We didn't, like, that mountain may have disappeared the first time they touched. We just didn't see the mountain disappear that time.
That's,
you know
that's exactly correct. That could be one of the reasons. They could have some type of, because listen, they both have the same childhood story, right? That they can't remember what happened to them at a certain age, but she started to remember when she got there.
When she got to town, she specifically,
and then she says to him, "Pleased to meet you." Like when she meets him, like somehow she heard of him or knew about it. Like pleased to finally meet you. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, so I think that, you know, as a child she didn't remember. Now she remembers. Hey, this is who, you know, I knew you.
She was severed until she got to town, and then it got released when she went
Severed is going to be one of the words that people are going to use. And say, Brent, you've seen Severance, right?
No, I never even heard of it.
Okay, well, I won't say too much about it then.
Well, you can say whatever. Like I said, I don't watch too much TV. So
Ruben in the chat says, do you think that it's just Amy and Autumn that are the same character? I think there's more people. I think they're mixed into two families. Do you think there's more duplicates in town besides Amy and Autumn?
I do think that there's a chance. So because you have this weird thing where or obviously Billy, almost every single time he's on screen, Billy's singing, right? And it's like everyone like that's his way of sort of interacting with the world. He sings. Now his father Wayne also broke down into song in episode 4, right? He just started, you know, that dude Wayne is creepy, right?
That was creepy.
They've got that's
That's another great actor. They got a good cast,
dude. He's almost too creepy for me.
Well,
but wait, exactly. But then you have, so that's one. It's a small parallel, but like, you know, the father and son both sing. But then you also have Rhett and Royal. They both are rodeo, like, you know, so Royal used to be a rodeo star. Now Rhett is a rodeo star, and he's trying to. Oh my God! By the way, side note, Rhett's girl is hot.
Which one? The Mexican woman?
Yeah, that girl's gorgeous.
Yeah, you know, she bounced away from him. She's like, "You got too much going on here. I gotta get out of here."
Oh man. Well, what do you? First of all, she's crazy. Like, she saw him get in a fight. You know, that's one of those things. Like when we're younger, we always used to get in fights. Like when I used to get in fights in bars, my girlfriends would always look at me and they'd be like, "What are you doing? You're endangering me. Don't get in a fight when I'm in the area." Like it took me a while to learn that.
I have to back you up too.
No, not even like, yeah, exactly. Well, they're just in the area. They're like, mayhem. I can get hit, blah blah blah. Yet when he got in the fight, I guess she's a country girl. She kind of liked it. She's like, all right.
Let's see if we can get Maria on the show. Maybe we can get Maria on the show. Let's
Oh,
try.
hey.
I'll try to contact the people and see if we can get her on the show. I think
Now, Tony, there's been a lot of questions in the chat. I can't put them all on the screen because there's different variations of them. Buffalo questions. What's the buffalo? Arrows out of the buffalo. So far we see the father of the blonde twins guy. He's praying to a buffalo sort of thing, and we see the buffalo showing up at different times, at different episodes. In the poker game, more in the most recent episode, showing up. Did that really happen, or was that just in his head?
The only thing I can say, me personally, about the buffalo, if the buffalo is actually real, is that the buffalo.
That's the Twin Peaks shit right there.
That the buffalo fell in the hole itself.
Ooh.
It's a buffalo from back in the day when Indians were hunting.
Yeah.
And when it was hunting, it got shot with 2 arrows and it fell in the hole and then wound up in this timeline.
I think you're right. That makes a lot of sense.
That's the only thing I could think of with that bus is doing.
They had that montage where it went through, you know, the different time periods of America or whatever. So that would fit into that. You know, I had been thinking that Wayne killed the buffalo. Yeah, no. I'm gonna stick with that because Wayne has a buffalo head on his wall. So I think that he killed the buffalo. Yet we're seeing like another version of the buffalo now with the arrows that had killed it.
You think he took that thing out with an
arrow? Yeah, I mean it's
Wayne's pretty crazy. Wayne did sneak up on Royal and beat him down, and then drive off.
These arrows are. There's no way you could kill the buffalo hitting it with those arrows the way they are. They're
it looks like it hit him in the heart, though. No,
yeah,
or the lung.
You have to hit it. You have to hit it, but the heart is like by the leg. It's lower behind the
I
leg.
thought it was in that area, but
It's
I
not
could
in
be
the
mistaken.
top of the buffalo. I don't think the heart's it's on its back. It got shot. You know what I mean?
Side, like,
It's on like this. It's like when you shoot a deer. I'm just going. You know, it's right behind the leg and stuff like that. You catch the heart. You shoot it there. You know what I mean? So I would think it's there. But these buffalo, the buffalo's hit. It's on the top of it. You know what I mean? Like it can't hurt it. And the fact she was able to walk right up to it and pull one of them off.
Yeah.
And the buffalo didn't do anything. You know what I mean? Didn't even instead. There's no blood coming out and everything else. You know what I mean?
He did. He kind of was like, and then walked away. And she's like, "All right, I'll get the second one another time."
Yeah, she just took it. Yeah, it was just like chill. Yep, peace.
Yeah. Again, if you make sure that you know that this is a call-in live stream, you can call in. The number is 781-990-8509. Call in if you want to say something, or you have a theory, or you want to ask a question to someone specifically, or all of us. Call in and let us know the deal. I'm going to do my best to try to get some of these people from the show on. We could pull off Josh Brolin. That would be amazing. But we're going for the Mexican playing girl first.
Maria. Oh, wow.
Just for Bridges' benefit.
Yeah, real quick. So here's a line that I may have been misinterpreting since day one, since episode 1. So in one of the first scenes, like the second or third scene, Cecilia's like sitting on the bed of Amy's bed, and she's talking to her, and she says, all right, she's talking about her father, about Royal. She says, well, we met very, very long time ago. Your grandpa grew apart, never knew his real father or his real mother. One day, something happened that made him want to run away. Says he can't remember, but my family found him. And here's a line I want to ask you guys about. He walked right up to the ranch just as a kid, same as you. So was she saying that he was a kid just like her? Or was she saying that Amy also walked up to the ranch as a kid with no memories? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, the way could you read the line one more time? Because I was just thinking it was the latter. The Amy walked up at the same time.
She goes through that whole thing. I'll read you the last 2 sentences.
Yep.
Says he can't remember, but my family found him. He walked right up to this ranch just as a kid, same as you.
I mean, that sounds like she's saying that.
Saying, that
she walked up as a kid, that she walked up to the, like, she's not really, her
biological daughter.
Yeah,
biological granddaughter.
That's what it sounds like. With 100% right.
Yeah,
there.
That's what I'm thinking too. Absolutely.
Ex Coco Cutie said she was just about to call that out. Ex Coco Cutie's on this show. She on this show.
And we do have our first voicemail. This is from area code 631. Let's make sure the audio is okay. Let's see if you guys can hear this.
Hi guys, this is Renee. I'm calling from New York, and I just wanted to know if you guys noticed the song that was playing while Autumn was pitching a rise in the pharmacy, and the lyrics were, I got royalty in my DNA. That's like making it obvious that Amy and Autumn are the same person.
Oh, here we go. I got it.
That. And if you get to me, thank you.
Great call.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So the song, I've got the lyrics. It says, loyalty got royalty inside my DNA. Royalty being a nod to possibly royal.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
a lot of the songs, like even like Billy was singing about like, and the angels, and then right as Sheriff Joy walked up and said that his brother's body was found, he was singing about angels. Ooh, I like
that. Goes both ways. It goes to the sister and it goes to the granddaughter, right? So it doesn't hash it out. It can go either way. You know what I mean? But it does lead on to the fact that Autumn's related to him. They're related somehow. And I'm still going with Autumn as Amy. I can't see it being the sister, because the age doesn't work unless somehow. No, we deal, because as I said, when they found the body, right, and everything else, when they showed the body and they found it, they said that it had only been dead for 12 hours.
It had been there less than 10 hours. Yeah,
less than 10 hours when they found it. And it was dead for days. For days and days. But
I think it was 8 days or something like that.
Yeah, so that really should clear them of this whole case. Like, that should clear them, because when they seen him, they can say, listen, we seen him, we got into that fight 4 days ago. He's only been dead for 10 hours. So it should clear that whole case should go right away because of that fact. It shouldn't even be an issue. anymore. That should be the end of that situation. But when dealing with that, I don't know, I don't know if it's to the point where if someone else falls in it, would it be that drastic? In order for that to be Royal's sister, it would have to like be year, because Royal's 60 years old. Unless his parents had kids 40 years apart, I can't see that being the sister.
And also, I think they said that his story was that I'll look it up. I think his story was that his parents died when he was a kid, so he's not too distant from his younger sister.
Yeah,
I mean, let me look that up.
yeah. So that's why I cannot go with the sister theory. I think she has something to do with it. Now, in the end, I think that this is again, we talked about it in From a little bit, and tomorrow night we'll be back with a From live stream talking about we finally got one renewed, Phil.
Finally won. But my big question about the whole is, or I have a lot of questions about the whole, but my big question about the whole, and we're kind of hinting around it, does it have different rules for everybody? Is this a mood hole? Is this a sort of matrix that slops onto you individually and gives you what you want? When Royal goes through this, does this go to something Royal needs to see? And if someone else goes through it, might then take it somewhere else. When we throw the body in there, does everything stay in the hole the same amount of time before
glory hole?
The glory hole.
So I'll clarify this. So he said, I've always told, when he's talking to Rhett in the car, I've always told you and everybody else that my parents died when I was a kid. So at least in the old version of the story, his parents died when he was a kid. He said that's only part true. My dad died, but not my mom. After my dad, I was really upset, and I left. I ran away. I never went back. Never saw my mother or my sister. So I think we can sort of infer that that his sister wasn't, his sister was within, like, let's say 10 or 15 years of him, not like too distant.
I mean, he's a kid and he left. So it would have to think, I would say like 5 years.
Exactly.
It's old enough that he remembers her. You know what I mean? So the glory hole, when dealing with,
is that what we're gonna call it? Is that what we're going with, the glory hole? Should we workshop that a little bit before we...
I mean, what's wrong with glory?
No, I mean, it makes sense. You see the glory of oneself in it. That's what we're talking about here. It's like you see your future, like the best case scenario, the glory. It's what you're going for with that hole.
It took me a minute to remember what a glory hole was. Wouldn't that be fantastic?
Is it like inside John Malkovich, where you fall out of it at a certain time and it gives you your own experience? I'm just curious what's going to happen if someone else goes in the hole. Will everyone else not survive? Is it only Royal that can survive a trip through the hole, and everyone else? And we haven't established those things yet.
And they said the body was cut on some metal, right? When it went through the hole, it said it had like on the ribs, it was like a cut on the side of like a metal cut, like it hit some type of metal on the side. And it was a gouging, and then they said the thing about the neck.
But Royal was uninjured. Royal went in and out, easy peasy.
Sheriff Joy, like whatever the her little deputy is, he was like, maybe he fell, and she's like, from where? Onto his throat? I'm gonna look up your line. You're right. She did mention something about cuts. I remember that part sticking out to me, but I never thought about it. I'll check it out.
So what's inside this hole? It just seems to be like, the rock itself. How did the hole get there? I'm thinking that it has to be either a spaceship or an asteroid.
I knew.
Wait. Step back. What was that?
Leave me alone, Phil. I know. I've been in the comment section. People, another alien Teflon.
I didn't say it. But it's curious. It's curious about this one. This one could be some sort of, I don't know, like Hell's Gate kind of thing going on here. I don't know. That's where I'm leaning towards some sort of, but it's time travel, right? Like we've established that it's time travel, right? It's a time portal.
I think it is. I don't know if we can truly say that it's truly it's some form of something, because he had he's getting flash forwards.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So somehow Flash Forward is a show that should have never been canceled too. Let me put that out there. I love that show.
Jackie C.
But he's getting some type of flash forwards, realistic ones, because he's seeing what's happening in the future. In the first one, it's proven that that's what happened because it happens to him. And that one, when he put his arm in it, it was only from 5 minutes. He was able to see 5 minutes in the future when he stuck his hand in it. but when his whole body went in it, he was able to see 2 years
Mhm.
in the future, or past 2 years in the future, because he had
At least
already
2
been
years, yeah.
dead for 2 years.
2 years, yep.
But that scene, you know what's crazy about that scene to me is like,
Been dead.
how is everyone just allowed to shoot at him? Like, it's not just the FBI or the cops shooting at him. It's the rancher's sons are the first one to pull their guns and start shooting at him. Like, how are they
Lance
allowed
Luke.
to do that? What place are you at that the FBI and everyone's around and I'm pulling my gun first and I'm gonna shoot this motherfucker?
You
And
keep
they allowed to do it.
keep it holstered, Agent Johnson. I got this.
Phil, so going back to your question, so very high level, there's obviously a bunch of different subplots going on,
Mhm.
but if you think about the larger plot that would extend possibly over a couple seasons, is that you've got this land feud over mining that mountain, right? So whether Wayne's going to be able to mine that mountain for the whatever the what are they called, special minerals or whatever, or if Roy's going to be able to keep the land and preserve it, right? So to me, and it ties into the ox or the bison. I feel like that hole in the bison are sort of like Mother Nature as a god. It's her way of trying to protect the possible future. So like the hole is like a way to tap into the future. And then and the bison is sort of like the god of nature that's sort of like leading Royal possibly in the right direction. So as an example, the bison jump like let's say the bison's on Team Royal, right? As Team Royal as opposed to Team Wayne. So when Rhett was driving the truck with Trevor in the back of it dead and Perry next to him, and he's looking over at Perry like, which way do I go? You got to tell me, am I going to the cops? Am I going to the hospital? We don't know where he was driving in terms of the map, but he was driving. All of a sudden the ox is in front of him, and next thing he does, he goes home. So it seems like the bison might be on like Team Royal versus Team Wayne. And I think it might just represent like sort of like nature trying to stick up for that mountain.
So almost, and again, I only do these comparisons for my own mind, but in the sense of like in Field of Dreams, when they want to save the farm, they start talking to Kevin Costner and telling him to build a field. So nature in a way built this hole to talk to Royal, to have him try to protect this land and keep it away from the other side, because the other side might mine it. And that's just, I know you're not saying this for a fact, but that's the working sort of concept.
That's the general thing, but I'd like to hear about the spaceship.
Yeah, leave me alone. But I'm saying, didn't Wayne see it before Royal did? He said he's seen it a long time ago.
Yeah.
This hole, right?
Yeah.
So he found the hole before Royal.
We don't know when Royal first found it, but Wayne. Sorry to cut you off. We don't know when Royal found it, but we know that Wayne found it a long time ago. Sorry,
right. Wayne's been praying to that buffalo for a while. That seems like it's been up there. It's been driving him crazy. Somehow, maybe he fell in the hole at one point, and he's been trying to get back in the hole ever since his whole life. He's been trying to get back to the glory hole, and he touched it. He touched it once, and he could never get back. It could be. It does once you're there once.
Oh Lord.
But yeah, I think he knew about it because before Royal even found the hole, wasn't Wayne already trying to get that part of the land from him? He had already sort of started the process of getting that section of the land before Royal.
We start with him already trying to get the land.
Right. So he wanted to get the land before Royal even in our story anyways, in his mindset right now, has even seen the hole. So yeah, so Wayne knew about the hole first.
Yeah.
Real quick. Sorry, Jackie or someone was saying buffalo or bison. So if you watch a lot of like National Geographic, when you see like lions taking out those huge animals and they have long like horns like that, those are the buffalo, like water buffaloes or Cape buffaloes. The ones that were in America with like the two little like the devil's horns, those are bison, American bison. There's also a European bison that looks relatively similar, like a woodland bison.
When are we going to talk about the clock that was at 0 and the military guards and towers and the perimeter around the hole when the Royals arrive? Autumn was there. And that's what I was going to say, where we're talking about it could be some science thing tapping into the earth or some weird where they just shut it down, where it turns into like an X-Files cutoff site at some point in time. And I think that's what all that was. But what do you guys think about this?
It looked like some Roswell situation going on there.
Yeah,
that's what it looked like, and that brings me back to aliens again. And listen, and if you get people in the chat who are talking about From and everything is an alien with you, Tone, the number one thing I said, if y'all pay attention to my videos when I started this aliens things, is things on TV, they come in clumps. There's trends. And when one show, best trend I can remember is if you ever seen a show back in the day, Helen Hunt, who was in Mad About You, her breakout role when she got a movie was Twister, right? And then every other show after that had a natural disaster. It was a natural disaster, another Twister, another volcano.
Anaconda.
Yeah, all these things
The one
came
with the
out.
monkey bit people. Outbreak. And
Yeah,
this.
like this is the way it goes. Everything comes in spurts because Hollywood likes to follow where the trends are. You know, when Gladiator came out and Gladiator blew up and won an Oscar for Russell Crowe, all of a sudden Rome came out. And all these shows about that time period where Game of Thrones became relevant and they were searching for the next Gladiator. Right now, it's the alien phase. And I think that's why we're seeing all these alien shows. And that's what I said to you back then. And that's what I'm saying again. Dante's Peak, you're correct, Tyson. That's what it's about right now. Dante's Peak, volcano, when the whole volcano rushing with thing. This is what it's about. And right now, it's the alien twist is the thing that everyone's getting. And I think that's what people are going for right now. I think that's what and I think that's what we were dealing with here. We're dealing with some type of wormhole that you can somehow go back in the past. And I think that's how that's what we're going to get. We're going to get a Flash type storyline. And if you ever see a
Flashpoint kind of thing where trying to protect the timeline kind of thing going on.
Exactly. And you see it in Marvel, right? Marvel's doing it right now with their timeline thing and everything. I think that's what we're getting here.
Yeah, real quick, I want to give a shout out to Ralph Benarski. I'm pretty sure, I'm sorry if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure Ralph was one of those, you know, when you like read a comment and it's like, you read it's like, did you even watch the episode? And then it corrects something you said wrong. And I was like, come on, man. But then we went on to have like a great conversation. So what's going on? Ralph?
Sometimes people are just trying to help.
When I read that though, I was like, yeah, what's the
Ralph?
My bad.
I don't see this Ralph in here. Who's Ralph?
Yeah, but yeah, Ralph and I had a long conversation about this. Something I mentioned earlier in the stream was because of Ralph.
All right. What up to Ralph? Now, Ralph is cool people. I seen Ralph up in here before, but no, you know, people do be trying to get at you.
Well, you know, sometimes like when I type to my friends in like an MMA forum, I'm typing real harsh, but like we have a certain bond and they know how I'm, you know, it's a lot of times when you write comments on videos, like people don't realize like, oh, I just spent 12 hours on this video. And then I read a comment, like you're a little sensitive reading the comments.
Now people are going crazy, whether it's really a buffalo or a bison.
And I do want to point out what T8 Magic said, because I didn't notice this. It looked like they knew when Royal would arrive. Maybe that countdown clock was knowing the exact time where Royal would actually arrive. I didn't think about that. That's probably true. They probably were waiting for him. That's why everyone was
like it does seem though like they're waiting for something. Like the countdown could be, you know, they knew somehow he was coming through and they're sitting here waiting for him at that point.
Or there would be some disturbance in the hole at that hour.
Yeah, they picked up some anomaly. You know, that something's about to happen. Get your guns ready. Something's coming through. We don't know what it is. And they're all standing out there. But again, why is the other Wayne's family there with guns holstered? If this is a government situation going on, why do they have a part of it? Well, why are they down with it and everything else?
At that point, Cecilia also told she told Royal when he came to the Void, she told him that they no longer own the land. So presumably that's the Tillersons' land at that point. So it's the Tillersons' land. They're making the money from all these rare earth minerals, and there's this void on the land. So now the government's come in. So the Tillersons are presumably working with the government at that point.
And if it truly happened, though, the government would just take the whole shit. There's a void hole like this on your land. It's not your land anymore. The government's going to come. They're going to put it. They're going to take it from you, regardless whether they, you know, put a finger in your ass when they do it or just pat you in the back, whichever way you want it. It's gone. They're not going to work.
If you take the first financial offer that they make, whether
they're not going to work with you.
But it could be in the process of government takeover in that moment. Another thing that might happen. We don't know what Royal did in those 2 years to get killed. Maybe they already killed him once because they found out what happened with the other son. So they're seeing him again. So they're setting up to kill him again. But to your point, maybe the FBI is in the process of taking over there. So they're all, you know, they're pissy about.
They got stadium lights on that shit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So when you have the stadium lights shining right there, that took a while to put the stadium lights up. And then we see Autumn in the yellow shirt, and we see a coworker in the same exact yellow shirt. So we know that that's some type of uniform. It's not just
Have you ever been in a cult? That goes to the question that he asked her at one point in time. Have you ever been in a cult? She's like, "Yup." And so that's absolutely coming back at some point in time.
Do you think she really was in the cup, but she's just fucking with him when she said that? I mean, that's like saying,
I took her for word in that moment, but I don't know about you guys.
Quick with it. Like, it was no hesitation. You know what I mean? Usually someone asks you some question like that, you gotta think about your answer. You ever been to coke? Yes, I have.
Yep.
Yes, I was.
He should have followed up. Have you ever run a cult? And she's like, "Yep, you're damn right I do."
Did you notice that in episode maybe 3 it was when he came to visit her at camp? It was 2 or 3. She had a yellow. It wasn't the same yellow shirt, but she had a yellow shirt hanging on her drying line there.
Did she really?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah,
she did.
Oh my god, damn!
It wasn't the same shirt though. I double checked that, but it was interesting that she already had a yellow shirt.
She's in a yellow cult.
Yeah, he says, "What does the color yellow mean to you?" Is what he says to her. Like, which is a weird question. She's like, "What power?" Blah blah blah. She gives a couple of statements where she thinks yellow. Why would he think yellow itself means something to her?
She was like, and he's like, "What does it mean to you? What is the yellow?" Well, he said it twice. She's like, "I'm thinking. Why?" He's like, "What is the color yellow?" And then she cut him off. Power. Yeah, that was a good little back and forth. Oh, real quick though, Phil. So the timelines are weird in episode 1. So he had been thrown in by her. And we didn't get this. We didn't see that scene. Oh no, sorry. The first scene that we saw was them standing together, and he's like, "What does the color yellow mean to you?" He had at that point in their timeline, he had already been pushed in. You know what I mean? So he had already seen her in yellow. But for us, we didn't see that until after the
fact, just to back up kind of what we had seen before. Oh, and thank you so much, Ralph. I appreciate that. From is a fun show to talk about. Can't wait to talk about season 2.
Yeah, we'll be back with From video tomorrow night. Tomorrow night we'll be back with a From video. We'll be doing a From live stream tomorrow night, same time. So be here tomorrow night, same time. We'll be talking From season 2. Got renewed finally. I got it.
Same Teflon time, same Teflon channel.
That is what it is. All right. So dealing with that, I think that when you seen Royal go inside and he pulled out the picture of 2 old people from back in the day. That has to mean something. Like they're showing that.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And then they say that this land has been disputed from a long time ago.
Wait, that went all the way back to episode 2, right? Wasn't the picture from episode 2?
Yes.
Yes.
Wow, so they didn't touch on that in the latest 2 episodes.
Yeah, when he confronts, she comes behind him and he has a flashlight. And then that's when he goes into what does yellow mean to you? What does all that stuff mean to you?
Yeah. So what's interesting, though, I forgot about, that was the final episode of the first day they released episodes. So they didn't touch on, presumably those are his parents, right?
You don't know if that's his parents or her parents because, this is her house. This is her family land. You would have to assume his wife's. This is not his. He said this has been my wife's family. He just walked up there and somehow, as a kid, they took him in. He wound up bagging this chick up, getting her to fall in love with him and marrying her and everything else, right? So, did he run away with a picture of his parents? Maybe he did. Maybe he did. Maybe it's his family and stuff like that. That would be the only way it could be.
Lady Starfalls, I'm telling you guys, Royal is the guy in the picture.
So it's worth noting that he didn't pull the picture like out of a drawer, like it wasn't her family's picture. He pulled the drawer out and then reached in afterwards to grab the picture. So it was a picture that he was hiding back there.
And he knew it was back there, right? And why did he go for that picture at that particular time? What would make him think to go back now? Saying he's the person in the picture. Now I do believe that he's gonna go all the way back into time.
Okay.
And set this whole thing straight with the land. Like he's gonna go all the way back when the assessor said it was disputed back then and get it so that her family keeps the land. But by the time he gets back, something's gonna fuck up the timeline. Ooh. And I think it's gonna be a flashpoint situation like that, where he's gonna keep going back and keep fucking things up, trying to straighten things out, and it's never gonna be right. And that's how we're gonna go through season after season.
I see what you're saying. I had no idea where the show was going. I could see it taking that route. So he goes back in time to sort of fix things, to get the land, to make sure that the land is his family's land.
Yes.
But because of the butterfly effect, something else. So he comes back to the present, and something else has changed. Where he's like, "Oh,
yeah."
damn.
So he may come back, and Wayne's married his wife. And he's with Wayne's wife, or he stumbled up to the wrong ranch. You know what I mean, or something like that happened. I think it's something like that. He's going to try to fix that. You know what I mean? How would it be? How great would it be if he came back and it was Wayne's kids, and it was Wayne's wife, and it was
and it's the same actors just wearing blonde, like little blonde haired wigs and stuff, little Lannister hair.
So actually, I think we kind of know at least where one subplot's going, because they brought back in episode 3 or 4, they brought back or they introduced the Tillerson wife. What's her name? Not Rebecca. Whatever her name is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, when she comes and starts investigating the murder.
It's my mother's name, Patty. They brought Patty. So they brought Patty into the equation. Now, like you said, they've cleared. They analyzed the body. They did the autopsy. So even though he was killed 8 days ago, his body had only been dead less than 10 hours, right? So that sort of clears him. But with that said, Sheriff Joy, she was still a little suspicious, even though the autopsy cleared him, she was kind of like, So she still has her doubts. Like even at the funeral, when she's walking away with her wife, she's like, that's pretty bold of them to come here, right? Like he must be
she's really a good they've established she's a good cop and she's a good investigator. I think episode 3 was really her episode where she shows herself to actually be very capable.
She does, but let's go again. Wayne's family, they're stupid. I mean, how do you go in there and allow a small town sheriff to fuck up your whole story, get you guys fighting against each other? Like, come on, don't you watch TV? All you had to say when you went in there is, I got nothing to say to you, I need my lawyer.
No comment.
It's that simple. All these questions and everything else stops. Give me my lawyer. Give me my lawyer. It's all over. But instead, they go in there and start talking to her and everything else. And it's not until Royal gets there with the lawyer that drags them out of there, like, you idiots.
But Perry's broken, man. He was broken before the story started because his wife is gone 9 months, and now he's killed someone. Like, that dude he's hurting hard. Like, even Cecilia, she said to Royal, she's like, Royal, like, he's not like you. Like, you got to bring him on a ride with you. Like,
you need to throw him in the hole.
He's having a hard time right now. My boy Perry's having a hard time.
Throw Perry in the hole.
Straight wreck jacket and leave him in the house. You're not allowed to leave the house, motherfucker.
That's crazy.
Because you're going to drag us all down. We're doing this to save your ass, right? We're trying to save you. You're trying to throw us on the bus, bro. Stay home and stop drinking. How about that? Instead of going out there to the bar and making yourself a suspect, you know what I mean? I just don't see why it would be something going on like that. Why he would but I just have to chalk it up to stupidity, because I just don't think that anyone, like, and maybe it's that small town shit, but try to pull that shit on someone in Queens, New York, and see what happens if you pull them in there and they say, and start asking them questions. What's the first thing that comes out of their mouths and everything? People say, when we see a Mastodon.
The band? No.
They did mention it.
They did mention it. Yeah.
Who was that guy? Was he the county assessor? Was that who it was?
Yeah, it was.
So he was like, he was sort of no, not that guy. The other one. I'll look up what
guy.
It might have been like the land management guy or something. I'll look up who it is in a second. So
the Cheetos guy who's eating Cheetos, or was he?
No, not him.
No Cheetos down the hole.
The one where Joy Sheriff went and she met up with the guy who had a raven. Remember the guy had a raven next to him? Yeah. And he was sort of like, to me, he looked like a handsome actor that had not slept in like 3 days or something like that. He I don't know if it was just me. He looked all kinds of like cracked out, right? And he started talking about how one of his workers on like his ranch or something like that went to hills, which are presumably attached to like Royal's yard. And they went into a cave and saw a mastodon in the cave. Like, what's up with that?
That's something else that fell into the hole, right? Yeah. So we're dealing with this hole. We deal with the Mastodon. You deal with the buffalo. It's trying to tell you that if shit falls in that hole, you could be transported anywhere in time. And somehow they were transported forward in time, right? And I guess that's what you would say the body was transported forward in time because it's missing hours. But somehow And all right, so let's go through this.
Is it a faraway tree kind of time travel? Do you
It
have any
has
control?
to be a faraway tree type situation.
What is a faraway tree type thing?
All right, so in from
You
there-
have no control.
and from there are these trees, and then when you get into the tree, it transports you somewhere else, but you don't know where it's going to transport you. It could actually transport you inside of a rock, and you're dead. So it just puts you. So it's a situation like that that's going on from. Is it a situation? People saying Fritos. All right,
I think we said Cheetos. Yeah, it was Fritos.
I said Cheetos because of that goddamn Peacemaker show.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
And Kung Fu Master and his goddamn.
So this guy was Frank Harlan. He's from the Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, okay.
The other guy was Carl. What was it? Carl Cheeto.
So,
or
yeah,
something.
I don't know what actually be a
Cheetos.
Mastodon. I think what they're trying to say is that things from the past, anything that falls in this hole, can be transported to a certain time period.
Okay.
And so I don't think that we'll see it through the Mastodon as an alien. You see what people doing to me? Do you see what you're doing to me?
But
I'm
no,
allowing
in
you to do it.
your defense, Tony, Emily says the creator of the show said there is something cosmic going on, possibly referring to.
Listen, this is what it is, people. Y'all gotta bend the knee to Don Tony Teflon, man. I mean,
Well, cosmic could be a reference to parallel universes and alternate timelines. It doesn't necessarily mean UFOs.
I mean, that's UFOs.
Bridge.
If we go into a parallel universe, that's UFOs. That's alien shit.
John Haymaker hasn't figured it out. It's alien Fritos.
I personally believe that we live in a multiverse. At every infinitesimally small point in time, a new universe is shooting off where I may have said this louder, softer, slower. I didn't say it at all. And I'd like to believe that like we get to choose our path. Like if you really believe in something with a capital B, boom, the law of attraction, it's yours.
I think you have. I've said that. I said it in prior streams that I think that when you have dreams, I think that that's other versions of yourself.
Ooh.
And you're seeing what happened to your other versions of yourself in the multiverse, right there. So when you meet people in like your dreams and you have no idea who they are, I think another version of yourself in a multiverse met that person, and you're experiencing their life. When you see someone falling to their death, another version of yourself fell to his death or a thing like that, and you're seeing that. When you're going through that, that's what I think is going
Bro, that actually ties directly into the show. So Cecilia in episode 1, she had a dream. She was talking to Royal. She said, I dreamed of Rebecca walking out of the darkness or something like that. And in episode 3, she saw Rebecca again. Did she? So I'm thinking that maybe the void is one way to tap into the unknown or the future. Maybe dreams are also another way to tap into that same thing, like you were saying, into alternate universes. So what's up with Rebecca? Remember she pulled out in that truck and Cecilia saw her. Now Cecilia's like, I guess I didn't see her. I thought I saw her. Do you think that was actually Rebecca? Has she returned? Perry's wife, Rebecca?
I think something had to happen to her with the hole.
With the hole, yeah. There's
Glory
some
hole.
connection. Someone earlier said there's more to his story, and I think his story has to do with her and that glory hole. Like something happened, really bad happened with that glory hole. The oldest son, I don't know the names quite yet. What's the oldest son's name? Perry, her in the hole, that he knew about that beforehand. The look on his face, he's more haunted by other things. There's more for story. Perry has more of a story. Someone said that in the live chat, and I absolutely agree. There's more backstory than we know.
I don't know who said it. I'm going to give it this credit to Ralph. It may have been like Percy or someone, but so I don't know if this is true, and I'm not sure I buy into it, but this is it's good food for thought. So when Perry got into a fight with Trevor, right? What if Trevor in some way, shape, or form was having an affair with Rebecca? And that's partially why Perry went nuts and kicked the crap out of Trevor, right? Now, the thing is, when someone wrote that in the comment section, I was like, ooh, that's really interesting. I like that because I like when stories get more complex. But Rebecca went missing like 9 months ago. I don't know. It's just not necessarily related, but it could be.
Yeah, I mean, they knew how to push his buttons. Like he said specifically that you don't know how to keep your woman or something like that, right? Like you can't keep your woman. So maybe he either liked her and wanted her, and he got her. So this is why he's digging at him because of it. You know what I mean? But something happened between them maybe early. Maybe they dated before they got together. Again, this is small town life. And when you deal with small town life, everybody sleeps with everybody.
Everybody.
That's and anyone in a small town. This is what it is. You wound up sleeping. Someone sleeps with someone, then you get with them, and everyone sleeps with everyone in small town life. So you always are with someone's ex. And most likely it could have been this dude's ex and then got with him, and then he's jealous and somehow you couldn't keep her. That's why she's gone. It's some type of situation like that. But that's small town life. You just sleep with everyone because there's no one else to do.
Now,
Yeah, he said, "Are you too ashamed to admit that she found a better man?"
yeah, and that could have been an implication, or he knows more about the way she ran off, and maybe he threw her in the hole, threw his own wife in the hole at one point in time. I do want to go to this question from Ty Smith, just because I thought about this too. You would think more people would know about the hole besides Royal, Wayne, and Autumn. It's not to say other people don't know about it, but the land out there in that part of the country is so vast that it's very rare that everyone travels every piece of that ground. So it's not completely unimaginable if you really see how spread out these big land acres are, that it's just, you wouldn't go in there for a whole winter. So I could see it, but I understand that. I thought about that a little bit too, that no one else
And
knows.
it's private property. And how big did he say it was? How many acres? 1,000 acres?
Wasn't it like 14,000 acres?
Yeah, it was something. It was like an astronomical amount of acreage.
I'm sure Bridge can correct me. He said towards the end during the bet.
During the poker game.
Yeah, I think it was like 14,000 acres, but I'm not positive.
Yeah, but it was. I mean, you can't. If it's private property, you're never going to see that. You know how big that piece of land is for you to see. Yeah. So no, I can't see. I could see why no one would know about it. It's not public land; it's private land, and it's surrounded by all this acres. To get to that one spot in all these acres, it's hard to do. What up to Mod Mary? Highlight you real quick and everything. Law friends, long time no see. She bounced on us for a little while, Mod Mary, but she's back. She's back, and that's her back. I think you're muted, Bridge. Can't hear you.
1,200 acres. There's a lot of land.
Okay, that's a lot. Not 14,000, but 1,200 is still a lot of land. I had no concept of land. I said 14,000.
Yo, you know what's interesting? Trevor's body reappeared on land, and then and the sheriff said it was BLM land. Did you catch that? BLM?
No, did he really say that?
Yeah, they said it was BLM land. And I was like, wait, what? BLM land? Like, oh, so BLM's getting it? So it's Bureau of Land Management. So that made me Trevor reappeared on land that Royals land, or was that municipal land? You know what I mean?
Well, 14,000 acres is 21.875 square miles.
Is that a whole state? Is that like Texas?
It's a county. You know what I mean?
It's at least Delaware.
All right, so that's how big that is to find that there. So that would be hard to find without a show. That may be bigger than Manhattan.
Yeah. So 1,200 acres is still a big, huge area.
Yeah, growing up, I had like a quarter acre or something like that. We had a huge yard.
And Kill says it was municipal land, I think.
Yeah, so it's weird that he threw him into a void on his land in the West Pasture, yet his body reappeared somewhere like on municipal land, not on his yard. It seemed. It's odd.
And added that Royal told the cop it wasn't actually his land.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so dealing with Wayne and knocking Royal unconscious with the rock. And the funny thing about it is he's about to throw the rock. If you look at his face, then he realizes what the rock is and he keeps it. But if you look at Wayne's face after he hits him with it, he's about to throw it. Then he's like, wait a second, this is my rock. I'm not throwing this. And then that kid starts laughing and jumps in the truck. And you wouldn't think, see, this is the whole thing. They set it up.
Okay.
To make you think this guy was a fragile, he's on oxygen, he's got no scrap to him, he's got no nothing. And then they let you know right here, this dude's not playing around. You know what I mean? Fuck you up, man. You turn your back on him and stuff like that. He's not playing. And do you think that maybe him and his wife broke up because of his obsession with getting this land? Because, he told his son, hey, get me the land. And then someone said something, he goes, oh, just like your mother. Oh, he just like your mother, like this is something him and his mother. And then when he told her to pick up the rock, nothing happened.
Yeah, she didn't notice any like black swirling
There
around
was no
inside of it.
swirlings on it. There was nothing. It was a regular rock to her.
Yeah,
So you think that only certain people are affected by this, and that's
I think
it?
so.
Yeah.
Real quick, I just want before I forget, Ralph pointed out that said the land that Trevor was found on was almost impossible and hard to pass through, according to Royal. And that's right. So like when Amy went up there, there was only like one trail to get up there to Trevor's body. And also, even though Sheriff Joy made that joke to her friend, she was like, where did he fall from? Right. So he didn't fall from a tree. But I'm pretty sure they were near that big mountain that disappeared. I think so, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is that mountain that disappeared? That's on federal land as opposed to on Royals land. Like so, and I think that mountain, and theoretically, if there's a mountain disappearing and then reappearing, that's like theoretically a mountain that they're mining. So that confuses me because I would have thought that the whole story is about them trying to mine on Royals land.
But everyone's seen the mountain disappear. That's the whole thing about it. It's like this. There was reports from the town people that they seen the mountain disappear. So
at least 10 people or a dozen people.
Yeah, so somehow, this is affecting the whole town.
That's right. So in that scenario, many people are seeing the effects of whatever cause, whether it was the rock or whether just interacting, touching Autumn. Multiple people saw the mountain disappear. But did everyone see the bison when they were playing poker?
Yeah, that's a question I have, Bridge.
Yeah.
Did just Wayne and Royal see it? Because they both made eye contact, or not. I mean, the hippie girl and him see it because they made eye contact and looked and saw that. I just assume anytime the bison's around Wayne somewhere going, praying to it, just waiting for his opportunity.
I mean, the bison thing is just, and we're going with bison over buffalo, right? But if people keep coming to me about this,
we just have to pick one and go with it,
We're going bison because Bridge said it.
I'm almost positive it's a bison. Buffalo have like a long, like the Texas Longhorns. They have horns like that almost. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, like the Cape Buffalo, like you see,
exactly.
It's a big long type situation like that and everything else. So when dealing with the bison sightings, the creator said the buffalo is royal spirit animal. He may have said the buffalo, but that may not be a buffalo. So,
you're right. There is one reference to buffalo in the first 4 episodes. I'll find it.
And
I think he was talking about food, though.
Yeah, bison is American, buffalo is Asian.
No. It's referring to the animal. I'll tell you, I don't know why you folks put up with all the oddities coming through here. Y'all got buffalo and immigrants and Indians running around. Yeah, so they're referencing the animal, but I'm pretty sure it's a bison, though.
We're gonna go with bison. We're going with bison, and that's it. So
the wonderful beast.
I think we covered just about everything that it would be in here and everything. And someone said better if it was M Bison from Street Fighter.
Yeah, M Bison from Raul Julia playing M Bison.
M Bison from Street Fighter, but everyone knows M Bison. So if you don't know the Street Fighter lore, real quick, Street Fighter lore, M Bison is the last person that you fight in Street Fighter in the original game, but they have another character named Balrog that's a black boxer. The original way it was the black boxer's name was M Bison after Mike Tyson, but it was so similar they had to switch the two characters' names. Yep.
Absolutely.
And that's how he wound up with that name and everything else at the end. But that was supposed to be Mike Tyson Balrog. The last guy, real name is Balrog. And that's what it was and everything else.
Emily Siegel just mentioned something. So you know how we said sometimes when Patty lifted up the rock, she didn't notice anything. But it may not have been the fact that Patty was lifting up the rock. It may have been the fact that no one was interacting with the void or interacting with a timeline at that point in time. So when people are interacting with a timeline in any way, shape, or form, let's say it's with a void or maybe just like touching someone from another timeline, maybe that's when you see those little swirls going around. Otherwise, those swirls sort of die out. Maybe.
Well, I would say that when Wayne woke up, the swirls were going around, and then he was like, I got to get in my truck and drive through this land. Like it was swirling then, right? And then that's what caused him to get in his truck and start searching.
Yeah, right? He spilled his drink, and then when it touched the rock, his drink, the the cranberry juice that he loves or whatever it is, it started
Clam juice,
bubbling.
clam
It
juice.
bubbled,
Clam
yeah,
juice.
bubbled up.
He
Yeah,
loves.
so
Is that a certain like popular clam juice in
maybe in
Wyoming or
that
something?
area, where the Kardashians are buying up all the land, as they had to point that right down.
Because Royal was like, "You got any lemonade?" And he's like, "All right, I'll take some of whatever he's having."
Yeah, your damn clam juice and everything. So he goes out there. Then when he gets out there, then Royal thing starts, fizzing around at that particular time too. Maybe to warn him, hey, someone's gonna fuck with the hole. Get out there. And then he just shows up there too. The necklace starts messing around at that particular time and it alerts Royal to go out there. So I don't know. Maud Marison, I believe the rocks, swirling time disturbances. Maybe this is how, when we see Royal and they're waiting for him in the flash forward, maybe somehow they have a giant piece of rock and that's how they know something's about to happen and they stand out there waiting for him.
You got to figure if that's in the future. They've had time to study the hole and they know when they can tell when the hole's about to shoot something out or someone's about to come through. So in the future timeline, we assume that there's more information has been able to ascertain about the wormhole, about the glory hole, whatever we're going to call it.
Glory hole.
You're like, don't try to call it a wormhole, Phil. It's the glory hole.
Well, so I got two things for you. First off, in terms of, because someone wrote this in the comment section, they were like, Royal stuck his hand into the void so as to find out, like, how did he know to have, like, which card to cheat with? Is he just a really good cheater, or did he use the void in some way, shape, or form ahead of time to know that he was going to play a poker game and have to store that card? You know what I mean?
I think he's a really good cheater.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that when they show the fact that he stole from the cops, they're saying that this dude's willing to do whatever it takes to win. And then he had the whole fucking story about the devil and all that stuff, and show me
creepy.
Show me your feet and all that foot fetish stuff.
And he was probably planting the card in that moment. That was a distraction to be able to have the opportunity to plant the card that he needed to set up. He has good mechanics. I think he was just doing, if you've seen Rounders, he was just doing like a worm mechanic type stuff at top level for him. And he played her. He called the game. He dealt out the hand he wanted to. He made sure she got the flush against his full house and set the card he wanted. He set that from point one. I think that was all Royal the con man, not anything to do with the hole in that situation. At least that's how I took it.
When I said creepy, I actually meant the scene before that when he was sitting at the bar with Sheriff Joy, and it sort of gave us her perspective of what was happening, and he was like, ooh, ah. So that was weird. And then all of a sudden, it's just like it snapped out of it. Like, what was the point of the way they filmed that scene? Like, they had him seem all dark and crazy, and then boop, back to like la da da.
No, because he is. When they film these scenes, that they're trying to give you an inside look of something that you normally wouldn't see about that character through that person's perspective. Okay. So when they showed it through her perspective, I think they showed her through ours, looking out.
Nervous.
And this is what he really is. Now, because every time we see Royal, it's usually from his perspective, right? Or how he views himself. But this is how other people view him. I would think it would be something like that.
So I got another question for you as a Stannis Baratheon fan. I'm not going to mention that they Game of Thrones, but you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
So the very final scene of episode 4 is like a night lamp theory, right? So when Wayne Tillerson is driving his truck out there was a light that popped up, and he was flooring it out towards that light and almost drove into the void. Was Royal baiting him? Was he trying to get him to drive into the void?
It could.
Like, I guess my question is, what is that light?
But it could be. It could have been him there. Doing that and trying to get him to drive right into the void and just go away. It's something that he would do. Look, the guy, listen, if you have kids and everything else and you do anything to protect your kid murdered somebody and he covered up. That takes a special person to do that. Not everyone. You would think that everyone would be like, listen, I got you back no matter what. But his kid murdered someone and brought the body back and was like, listen, we're going to take care of this for you. We'll get rid of this body.
And they didn't hesitate. We're going to take care of this. Done.
It was just done. We're getting rid of this, and we're getting rid of this body. I know exactly where to put it. Again, why don't you burn the body? Do something. Why are you just dumping into this hole? Did you think that this hole is this never-ending pit for some reason, and nothing's coming out of this hole and everything else? And I just don't know why he would think that at that particular time.
With his shirt off in the night.
My next question is going to be like, why was Royal out there? I'll throw out an option I just saw in the chat, and let's see what you guys think about this. So the middleman says Royal was out there throwing the necklace into the void. Wayne was inspired to go out that night by his buffalo spirit animal. So do you think is that why Royal was out there? I guess that kind of makes sense. We didn't see him throw the necklace into the void, though, did we?
I didn't see him throw the necklace.
I didn't see him do that.
But that does make sense. The only data we have to work with is that he had cheated to get the necklace, and then he's over at the void. So what is he doing? Presumably, that makes a good point. He's presumably trying to throw that necklace into the void. Why? I don't know though.
Yeah, the middleman. We talked about the song and how Autumn is related to all that stuff and everything. And I'm taking credit for the Amy Autumn theory because I posted that before anybody. So I don't care anyone says everyone stole that shit from me. All right.
Yeah, he took his shirt off at the glory hole and he threw something in there. Like
who doesn't take their shirt off at the glory hole?
You have to, right? We're talking about the same thing here, right?
Normally do, right? You just do that.
We're talking about the same thing here, right? Yeah, the hole in the show, the glory hole.
Who does? Listen, the glory hole. It's like a box of chocolates. You just don't know what you're gonna get.
Now, guys, if we do one thing by the end of the season, we're gonna get down to the bottom of this glory hole. We're gonna figure out what's going on.
Make T-shirts, glory hole T-shirts for you, and put them on sale here for you. Right?
It's happening.
I would like to get Josh Brolin on this channel.
He would love that T-shirt. I could see. I
guarantee it. You would say something about the glory hole.
That's awesome.
There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. I think we went through it all.
Wait, real quick, shout out to Maria Olivares. The actress is Isabel Areza. Sorry, that was supposed to be sexy.
Someone flip that.
Very sexy.
I took a shot and I blew it.
It was charming,
Bridge. No one said it was sexy. No one said it around.
She's gonna love it. She's gonna love it.
We're gonna try to get her on. We'll
send her that. That'll get her on the show.
That's like Mary knows you did, Toad. I saw it. You see, I was the first one to put that out there. Other people came and stole it and put it on Reddit and getting credit for it, but it was me. Go check the dates, and you'll see what it is and everything else. All right, so. All right, we're going to bounce up out of here. We've been on here for an hour and a half. We said we'll keep this to an hour. We'll be back again next week with another 2 episodes breakdown. Thank you for all. We had over 100 people here watching. That we would not expected that type of crowd to be here. Thank you so much for supporting. We'll be back tomorrow with the From Season 2 got renewed. We did not get Lovecrafted. Finally. Fucking finally.
On TV broke out of it. We finally.
God, Jesus Christ. We finally got a season goddamn 2 on the show.
And this is an important one. And we'll talk more about this tomorrow night, but this is an important one. And I think hopefully now that it's announced to season 2, I'm going to repeat myself tomorrow night, but hopefully it gets added to Hulu or Amazon or Netflix ASAP, so more people from the bigger platforms can catch up on this awesome show.
No doubt. Check out Bridge Force channel because you know Phil's channel, but check out Bridge Force channel. You know what I mean? He's part of the Usual Suspects podcast with us right here, and he's got amazing. I can't even just tell you how many the subscribers count tell you enough. Amazing content on this show. And keep them in the game, all right?
Too bad only 6% of my subs have the notifications on.
That's 5% more than us.
Yeah, do we have to open up our numbers, Bridge? Come on.
We had to pull it out, Bridge. Euphoria was doing hella numbers for you. Let me tell you.
Actually, I gained like 5,000 subs from them, but they all left. Euphoria is a good show, man.
I was gonna do it too, and I didn't. I should have, and I was like, "Why didn't I do it?" I was like, "Why didn't I?"
But bro, my channel's at risk of being taken down right now because of that show. I got a channel strike.
All right, we'll talk about that another thing. All right, thank you everyone for rocking with us. If you like the way we do this, please thumbs up to spread this across the realm. Let's always subscribe. And until next time, see you tomorrow night, 8:00 p.m. Peace and stay sexy.